Sit down, I mean it. Stop pacing your kitchen. Slide to the edge of the bed. Unclench your jaw. Put your phone face down for a second. Take one slow breath in, longer out. Again. This isn't the kind of word you receive while you're spinning. This is not background noise. This is a visitation. If this found you at night, in your car with the dome light on, in your kitchen with the mail stacked and the budget spreadsheet open, on the edge of your bed, staring at the ceiling, listen to me. That wasn't random. Heaven scheduled this moment with your name on it. Out of every scroll, every video, every voice you could have heard tonight, God put his finger on this one and said, now. I know what's been living in your chest. You've been doing mental math at midnight. Move this bill here, delay that payment there. Refreshing accounts like a lifeline, rehearsing worst-case scenarios in the shower, keeping a polite face for coworkers while quiet panic pricks the back of your eyes. I see the way your shoulders tighten when a notification buzzes. I hear the loop. What if I can't cover it? What if I miss it? What if it all falls? God is saying something to you tonight, and he's not whispering anymore. He's interrupting your spiral because a miracle is forming in your finances. Not a someday, not a maybe, forming now under the surface. But hear me clearly, it will not be built on the frenzy that's been draining you. It will require one surrender. One thing you keep trying to manage, grip, explain, and secure in your own strength. You're going to want to catch it when it starts to wobble. Your reflex is to lunge, to save face, to hold it all together. You can't. Not this time. Sit, breathe. This is a summons. Heaven has an appointment with you, and we are not going to miss it. Listen to me carefully now. Anxiety talks first, talks fast, and talks loud. It flashes worst-case headlines across your mind and calls them forecasts. It loops the same scene until you're dizzy and then names the dizziness discernment. That's not prophecy, that's static. God's voice does not shout you into a corner. He speaks and your shoulders start to lower. He doesn't flood you with 1,000 maybes. He gives you a step, peace with authority, direction without the demand to perform. I know you're already bracing. You're already asking, what did I do wrong? Why can't I get ahead? Why does it keep slipping the moment I think I've got it? You've rehearsed that litany so long, it feels holy. It isn't. Your fear is not a forecast. It's a smoke alarm stuck on repeat. Heaven is not reading your balance and wringing hands. He's not pacing. He's building. Hear me. This isn't punishment. It's positioning. Not abandonment, architecture, not God taking, God removing what can't carry you into the next season. You can't pour new concrete on top of cracked concrete and call it strength. The shake you feel is love-driven demolition, clearing the rot, making room for weight-bearing peace. He is not after your humiliation, he is after your foundation. And when I say miracle, don't hear lottery. Don't hear a scratch-off windfall or a magic wire transfer divorced from wisdom. Hear formation, timing, alignment, doors that open and should have stayed shut for everyone else, opportunities preserved that should have expired, favor that meets you in rooms you didn't know to knock on, strategy you can actually execute, relief that arrives with wisdom so you don't bleed it out in a month. Provision that comes with instructions, not just numbers. Set your expectation here. The forming is happening beneath the noise. While you sleep, while you obey the next small nudge, while you stop wrestling the outcome you can't control. As you choose peace over panic, clarity will meet you. As you release the script, provision will find you. Let anxiety finish its monologue if it wants, but don't hand it the microphone again. God's voice is speaking direction. Follow the calm. Listen. Look at your hands. Everything is clattering at once. Rent notice, school forms, the text from a family member who always just needs a little help, the car light that blinked on today, the unexpected copay, the co-worker's project you took because You're good at making it work. The image you keep managing so they won't see how thin you feel. The silent sacrifices you make and never invoice. You've been sprinting in a kitchen of flying plates. Paper ones, porcelain ones, other people's heirlooms you sworn didn't belong to you, and every time one wobbles, you lunge. You don't even think, you save it, again. But hear me, the cost is not just dollars. It's sleep you can't buy back. It's a back that never unwinds. It's clarity dimmed, creativity choked, joy taxed at 100%. It's the dull ringing in your spirit where my whisper should be clear. Anxiety has learned the sound of your footsteps because you never sit long enough to let peace land. When you live in plate-catching mode, you spend not only money, you spend attention, and attention is the currency of faith. No wonder revelation feels scarce. Your focus is overdrawn. I'm going to be blunt with you because I love you. You became the rescuer, the fixer, the one who makes it work. You covered bills that weren't your assignment. You answered calls at midnight because you were afraid no would be called selfish. You stepped into gaps I never told you to fill, then wore the exhaustion like a badge of maturity. You're not failing financially, you're hemorrhaging capacity by catching what I never asked you to hold. And while you're moving like that, I've been trying to place something in your hands. Strategy for stewardship, favor with a person of peace, a boundary that would instantly stop the leak, a rest that would reset your sight. But your fingers are clenched around spinning obligations. You prayed for increase. I answered with instruction. You asked for clarity. I stood at your door with peace. But hands already full cannot receive. Full hands fumble miracles. Listen to me now. The forming miracle requires empty hands. Provision and control cannot sit on the same throne. This is why the wobble feels louder. It's exposing what you've been propping up so love can rebuild. I'm not shaming your heart. I'm freeing your hands. The one thing that must fall is coming into view, and when you stop lunging to save what drains you, you'll feel it. Peace with weight. Boundaries with breath. Room for the provision I've already sent. Here it is. Not your rent, not your child, not your dignity. The thing that must fall is the demand to control how, when, and through whom I provide. You've been trying to script me, method, timing, optics, so that you can stay unembarrassed, unexposed, unimpaired. You keep handing me a storyboard and calling it faith. That's not faith, that's fear in a suit. You've been auditioning me for the role of your assistant when I am the architect. Control feels like safety, but hear me. It produces slavery. It cuffs your mind to anxiety's clock and makes you a manager of disasters instead of a receiver of provision. Peace cannot grow in a life micromanaging outcomes. That's why your chest tightens at 2:13 a.m. That's why you refresh the banking app 12 times an hour and still don't feel better. That's why you pick up extra shifts you hate to outrun a phantom lack. That's why you say yes so they won't call you selfish. That's why you weaponize shame to motivate yourself. If I were better, I'd have more, try harder, hide smarter. I see it. I love you too much to let you keep wearing chains and calling them responsibility. Listen to me. I am not asking you to be irresponsible. I am asking you to stop being your own savior. There is a holy difference between stewardship and stranglehold. Stewardship obeys the next clear step. Stranglehold demands a guaranteed outcome before it rests. Your miracle will not be bullied by your spreadsheets, but it will be stewarded by your obedience. So let it fall, the compulsive checking. Let it fall, the frantic explaining so nobody thinks less of you. Let it fall, the performance of I'm fine while you're drowning. Let it fall, the overworking that buys silence from fear for one exhausted night. Let it fall, the yes you give to avoid disappointing people I never told you to carry. Let it fall, the shame soundtrack you play to keep yourself hustling. Let the plate called control crash. I will not let what is truly yours shatter. Open your hands. Release the script. Receive the peace with weight. Listen to me. The tremor you feel in your money is not my anger. It is my kindness doing separation work. When I shake a life, I never do it out of cruelty. I do it out of love. Love that refuses to let extras masquerade as essentials. Love that sifts assignments from distractions so the weight of peace has room to sit. You asked me to multiply. Multiplication requires room. Capacity isn't a number first. It's a structure. You can't pour new concrete on top of old cracked concrete and call it strength. So I'm clearing the site. This is why certain patterns are wobbling. Spending that numbed you is losing its power. A door that fed your ego but starved your spirit just closed. The side hustle that devoured your Saturdays without building your future is ending. A client who kept moving the goalposts decided to leave. That wasn't loss. That was me returning your time. The support system that only supported you as long as you performed is shifting. The comfort purchase you used to reward yourself suddenly looks like a leak. I'm not humiliating you. I'm liberating you. I'm not reducing you. I'm refining you. Hear the reframes and let them settle. Not lack, alignment. Not humiliation, liberation. Not collapse, construction. Not punishment, preparation. I am not breaking you. I am breaking the bondage that kept you performing for provision. I am shaking earning habits that were born in fear so you can work from calling, not from panic. I am shaking spending reflexes that apologized for your worth so you can invest with wisdom. I am shaking dependencies that made people your source so you can remember they are channels. I am the river. Breathe. This is threshing, not theft. What can't carry you into the next season is being sifted out, so what must remain can be anchored. The miracle that is forming needs a frame that doesn't leak, boundaries that keep what I send, rhythms that don't bleed you dry, choices that agree with who you really are. Let the shake do its holy separating. I will not let what is truly yours shatter. I am rebuilding you for weight, peace weight, stewardship weight, provision that stays. Listen to me. There is a realm where numbers still add up, but not the way your calculator taught you. Wilderness math, bread for today, strength for the step you're on, doors that open after you stop pounding. In that place, I break the illusion that your safety is produced by your predictability. In the wilderness, I train you to trust me, not the script. Daily bread was never about scarcity. It was about relationship. Morning by morning was my way of saying, I will meet you again. You don't have to hoard fear to make it through. Here's what I'm confronting. Logical idolatry. You only trust what you can predict, then you call it wisdom. You only obey if you can pre-approve the outcome, then you call it stewardship. That's not stewardship, that's control in religious clothing. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom. I am asking you to dethrone certainty. Logic is a tool. It is not your Lord. When provision stops looking logical, it starts looking like me. I hear your objections already, but I have responsibilities. I gave you those. Obey me in them, but stop making fear your CFO. Fear-led decisions are the most expensive ones you will ever make, but I'm behind. I know exactly where you are. Rushing won't redeem time. Instruction will. But I can't afford faith. You can't afford panic. Panic pays interest. Trust saves it. Understand this. Provision may arrive as strategy you can execute, not salary you can fantasize about. It may be a person of peace with a key to a room you weren't on the list for. It may be a yes that feels small but opens a sequence you couldn't plan. It may be a delay that saves you from debt disguised as opportunity. It may be a redirection that protects you from a partnership that would have bled you dry. Sometimes I provide by closing a door you were about to finance with your future. Wilderness is where your hands learn humility, open, not clenched. Hoarding yesterday's manna breeds worms. Clutching yesterday's methods breeds worry. I am teaching you the rhythm of enough. Gather what I give, use what I show, rest when I say, move when I nudge. Your spreadsheets can serve the miracle, but they cannot summon it. Open your hands. Let the need to guarantee outcomes fall to the ground. In this place, trust becomes your currency, peace becomes your pace, and my timing becomes your strategy. This is how you stop living by panic and start living by me. Stop. Feel the night you've been living in, the blue glow of your screen, the quiet creak of the house, the numbers you keep pinning to the mat, as if you could just hold them down long enough, they'd behave. This is Jacob's night. Not punishment, promotion, not a beatdown, becoming. You think you're wrestling the bills, the balance, the timeline. Truth? You've been wrestling me for certainty, and I've been wrestling control out of you because morning is coming with a name you can't wear while you're still sprinting. I know your grip. Refresh, calculate, bargain. If you do this by Friday, I'll never. That's you trying to pin me to predictability. I don't lose, I love. And love will reach for the tendon you trust most, the place you power through, the hustle you use to outrun dread, the extra shift, the silent swipe, the image of I've got it. I touch that place not to humiliate you, but to save you. The limp is mercy. The limp says, you can't run like that anymore. The limp slows you to my pace. The limp makes leaning not optional, but natural. Listen to me. The names you answer to in the dark, behind, bad with money, cursed, never enough. Those were stickers, not skin. They were never the words heaven wrote over you. They looked like identity because you wore them so long, but they never fit. I am peeling them off. Peeling stings, peeling exposes, but peeling frees lungs you forgot you had. You will come out of this night holding your real name. And here's the bridge your heart needs to hear. The miracle forming is attached to that new name. Steward, not struggler. Son, daughter, not beggar. Builder, not burner. With that name comes a new gate, a way of walking that keeps the increase. Slower, clearer, tighter boundaries, cleaner yeses, and holy no's. With that name, you will stop funding other people's comfort with your future. With that name, you will stop performing for provision and start partnering with it. With that name, you won't chase counterfeit doors. You'll wait for peace to open the right one. So let it fall. The fight for outcomes, the need to script the scene, the frantic posturing so no one sees you lean. Cling to me for blessing. Release me from your storyboard. Dawn is near. When you rise, you will walk differently, and your finances will follow your feet, not breaking open, not less, you aligned. I am with you in the night, and I am the one who names your morning. Listen to me now. There is a weight heavier than any bill on your table, the quiet lash you keep aimed at your own soul. Shame. It masquerades as motivation. It whispers, if you punish yourself harder, you'll finally become disciplined. If you talk to yourself like a drill sergeant, you'll stop messing up. But shame doesn't build discipline, it breeds secrecy. It doesn't produce stewardship, it produces sabotage. You hide receipts. You snap at the one who asks, how are we doing? Because you've already sentenced yourself. You swing between starvation budgets and blowouts because punishment is a terrible teacher. Deprive, explode, repeat. Look at the loop I'm exposing. People pleasing until you're empty. Over-giving so they'll call you generous. Undercharging so they won't think you're too much. Refusing help because you believe you must earn the right to be carried. Refusing rest because collapse feels holier than calm. That's not maturity. That's a performance to buy worth with exhaustion. You've been trying to purchase lovability with effort. That invoice will never clear. Hear me. I am not withholding because you are flawed. I am healing the place that baptized money as a measure of your value. I don't fund performances, I father children. I am restoring identity before increase, so increase won't become your identity. Not rejection, repair, not delay, deliverance from the lie that your balance determines your belovedness. And I hear that other voice circling, the one that knows your weak moments. Look at you, always struggling. You'll never be stable. You ruin every chance. People like you don't get ahead. Do not answer it, mute it, block it. Those words are not coming from heaven. Heaven calls you by the name I gave you, steward, son, daughter. Practice this now. Let it fall on the inside. Put down the inner whip. When shame rises to motivate, speak your real name out loud and choose a gentle boundary instead of a brutal vow. Receive help without rehearsing a debt. Schedule rest without writing an apology. This is not irresponsibility. This is agreement with me. Shame must fall, chosen one, because I'm rebuilding your foundations with peace, and peace cannot sit where you self-punish. Identity first, then increase that stays. Listen to me. New wine requires new skins. I will not pour fresh provision into patterns that leak. Impulse clicks in the checkout line. Rescue spending that keeps chaos on life support. Fear giving that tries to bribe anxiety quiet. Vague budgets that feel spiritual because they're foggy. Open tabs of obligation with no boundaries and no end date. You've asked me for increase. I'm answering with architecture. You can't pour new concrete on cracked foundations and call it strength. I am rebuilding you with clarity, counsel, discipline, consistency, and rest, so what I send can stay. Here is what let it fall looks like in your real life. Let it fall, the subscriptions you forgot you were financing. Cancel 3 this week without writing an apology to the ghost of who you thought you'd be. Let it fall, the habit of lending to the same story on repeat. Replace it with a pre-decided generosity line that you steward, not a guilt faucet you can't shut off. Let it fall, the instant yes. New rule, no yes without checking the calendar and the budget. Let it fall, the 2 a.m. comfort purchases. Install a 24-hour pause on anything unplanned. Let it fall, the unspoken expectation that you will be the family ATM. Script it now. I love you, but I can't finance this. I can offer time, a ride, or a resource list. That's not cruelty. That's holiness with a boundary. Boundaries are not selfish. They are sacred. You can love people without financing their dysfunction. You can honor your family without destroying your future. Holiness means your money serves your calling, not your dread. So build the container. Set a weekly money meeting, 15 minutes of truth, not shame. Open a separate account for taxes and savings. Make the transfer automatic. Price your work at its real value and put payment terms in writing. Ask for counsel from a person of peace who carries wisdom, not urgency. Rest 1 day a week so your soul stops spending clarity just to survive. Listen. Miracles don't only sound like thunder. Often they sound like footsteps on a new floor you poured with quiet choices. The forming is happening now. I am strengthening your containers, not just your numbers. Not punishment, preparation, not less, leak-proof. Build the frame and watch increase arrive on schedule and stay. Tonight's assignment. Listen to me and do not delay. Open your hands. Let it fall. Not everything. One thing I highlight. One obligation you've been propping up. One fear behavior you rehearse at 2 a.m. One control ritual you call responsible. One people-pleasing commitment that drafts from your future every month. Don't negotiate me down. Ask and I will show you the plate. When I point, don't grab, release. Let it fall. The extra shift you only take because dread says, if you don't, everything collapses. Let it fall, the loan you keep extending to the same story that never changes. Let it fall, the constant rescuing that teaches others you're their source and trains your soul to live bankrupt. Let it fall, the need to look unbothered while you're bleeding. Let it fall, the addiction to monitoring, the 10th refresh, the hourly account check, the doom scroll through other people's highlight reels. Let it fall, the apology yes you give so they will keep calling you dependable when what they mean is available to be used. And listen to me, when you let it drop, practice the silence. You do not owe an essay for your obedience. You do not have to justify boundaries to those who benefit from your exhaustion. No is a holy word. I can't this time is a complete sentence. Bless them. Do not debate them. Do not send a follow-up paragraph to salve their disappointment. Your peace does not require their permission. Hear the truth and let it settle. If it falls, you are not a bad person. You are a delivered person. That crash is not failure, it is freedom. That sound is construction, not collapse. I will not let what is truly yours shatter. I am catching you while I rebuild your foundation. Now seal this moment. Put your feet on the floor, drop your shoulders, palms open, breathe. Say it out loud. I release control. I renounce panic. I receive your peace. Provide how you choose. I will not explain my obedience. Stay there. Let the quiet be your amen. This is where your breakthrough begins. Listen to me. Do not leave this moment private. Go to the comments and name it. Don't be vague. Write the plate you're done catching. Write the control habit you're releasing. Put it in plain language your future self can't wiggle around. I am letting blank fall. The script I surrender is blank. The boundary I accept is blank. Name it because secrecy keeps fears salaried, and tonight, fear gets laid off. The moment you name it, you take its power away and give it back to heaven. You make faith concrete. You pin obedience to a place and a time so your mind can't gaslight you tomorrow and call this a feeling. It wasn't a feeling, it was a yes. And then listen, don't just post and run. Read the other comments like you're walking through a sanctuary. Speak life. If you carry one clear sentence of blessing, put it under a stranger's name. Peace to your house. Strength for your yes. Provision in wisdom, not panic. Your sentence might be the confirmation someone begged me for at 1:38 a.m. with a calculator in their hand and tears on the screen. Tonight I am weaving provision through witness. I am turning a thread into a net that will not break. Hear my reassurance while you type, I saw the overdraft nights. I counted the breaths you held while transactions cleared. I heard the quiet embarrassment you never said out loud. I was in the car when you whispered, help me, and thought no one heard. I am not late, I am laying foundations while you obey. Now seal this with identity. Chosen one, you were built for this moment, not cursed, being constructed, not forgotten, being formed for, not collapsing, being cleared for capacity. Go write it. Name what must fall. Bless someone else. This is your public point of agreement for provision and peace, and heaven is watching to perform it.